this. All right. All my watches and clocks are different. We'll wait one more minute and see who comes. I am going to start. We're just going to get right into movement to begin with, and then we'll meditate. But I am actually going to start on my back, and so I'll show you options. You can have a blanket or a towel and roll it up and put that underneath your shoulder blades. Or if you have blocks, I'm going to use 2 blocks, one for under my shoulder blades and one for under my head. And we'll just kind of start with a heart opening, laying down pose. So you can do either this, lay on your block, use the other one as a pillow, and you can kind of adjust heights. So it could be that high or middle height, and same with the one underneath your back. The other option is just to take a rolled blanket or towel and put it right under your shoulder blades. So the tip of your shoulder blades, not your shoulders, but not your lower back, just kind of in your thoracic spine. And you can adjust the size of the roll till it feels good for you. And you can let your ribs splay out here. We're just kind of letting ourselves relax into a supported back bend. So either way, just kind of find your place. If you don't have anything to be a prop, that's fine too. Just lay on your back with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor, and let your arms kind of go either out, just straight out to the sides, or into a cactus. I'm going to adjust my camera a little bit. And so wherever you are, just get yourself supported. Find an arrangement of your legs that feels good for you. So it could be knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Could be legs long. You may like feet together, knees wide, or feet wide, knees together. Just kind of explore what feels supportive in your body and make a lot of space for your breath. And we're not going to worry too much about overthinking anything today. Just bring your awareness to your breath and your body. And just notice that even here in this really open and vulnerable position, you are completely safe and supported. You can let yourself feel the support of your breath. And it may be really nice to start to turn on your Ujjayi breath, that ocean-like sound in the back of your throat. And just let it be a mantra of sorts. So you can hear and feel your breath. Just really bring your awareness into your body and notice how much space you have for your breath as it comes in and as it leaves. Lengthen your inhale to a count of 4 or 5. And lengthen your exhale to a count of 5 or 6, just slightly longer than your inhale. And then go ahead and start finding some movement with your arms. You can pretend you're a little kid playing in the snow, just swim your arms out and around like you're making a snow angel. You're laying on the ground. Just explore your shoulders, feel your shoulder blades move on the support underneath you, whether you've got a blanket or blocks. And go as slow as feels good, where it's really mindful. And you might find some places that are a little sticky, places that might feel good just to pause in for a breath. And then find a place just to lengthen and relax. So maybe arms straight out to the sides, maybe arms overhead. And just take another breath or two there. And then reach your arms straight up to the ceiling. Just cross your right elbow underneath your left and give yourself a hug. You can reach toward your shoulder blades. And then open out wide again. And then just cross the other way. And then just reach your arms straight up toward the ceiling and see if you can protract your shoulder blades, spread your shoulder blades apart, really reach your fingers up, and then draw your shoulder blades together. And just do that a few times. Just protract and retract your shoulder blades. And try to use the muscles around your shoulder blades and not your neck. Think about that. And then we'll just roll off of your support and move it out of the way. Come back down onto your back, and we'll do a little bit of bridge work. So come on your back, flat on your back, knees bent, feet flat on the floor, like you would for a bridge. And just start to do 2 or 3 rounds of pelvic rocks here. So really exaggerating your lower back curve, pushing your pubic bone toward the floor, and then pushing your lower back, lifting your tailbone. And just back and forth there, just moving your pelvis. And then you can start to let that get bigger as you lift the back of your sacrum, lift your lower back, and lift up into a bridge. And then see if one vertebrae at a time, you can slowly lower down. You can get your arms into that movement as you slowly lift your pelvis. Try to lift one vertebrae at a time and let your arms swim up and overhead, backs of your hands to the floor overhead. And then as you exhale, try to come down one vertebrae at a time as your hands come back to where they started. And just move with your breath there and really let yourself hear your breath. So use that warming Ujjayi pranayama. Keep your hands where they are. And this next time, just lift up into your bridge Draw your shoulder blades together and then really firm your triceps into the floor. I'm going to hold on to the outer edges of my mat. You could just have your hands flat. Just feel what feels anchoring for you. And we'll do little marches here. So just float your right foot a tiny bit up off the floor and put it down. Try to keep your hips level and just go back and forth, left foot up. Tiny marches, right foot. You can flex through that ankle. So you keep get your whole foot up off the floor and just stabilize around your pelvis. So push into that grounded heel as you lift the opposite foot. And the higher you lift it, the easier it will be. So just float that foot up a tiny amount. Let's end with the left. And then go ahead and come down. Soles of your feet together, knees wide. Really push into the pinky edge of your feet to collect your breath. And then push your hips up off the floor. And then lower. And then lift your hips up off the floor and lower. And I can notice, like for me, one side wants to push up faster than the other. See if you can come up evenly and smoothly. The next time you come up, just pause up at the top. Keep your feet exactly as they are. Really push your feet into each other. Push the pinky edges of your feet into the floor. Feel like you're pointing your tailbone toward your heels. And then draw your knees a little closer together and then energetically pull them apart from each other. Keeping your feet just as they are. Slow and controlled little movements through your adductors and then your abductors. So add toward the body, the center. Ab is to subtract out away from the body. Let's do one more. And then go ahead, release down. Feet as wide as your mat, just windshield wiper your knees from side to side. I'm moving my prop. We're going to do a little bit of twisting in a minute. So just kind of clear the space around your mat. All right, hug your right knee into your chest and just give it a nice squeeze towards your armpit. And then lengthen that right leg straight up toward the ceiling. Let your hands just come on the floor. And then with a straight leg, lower that leg to hover above the floor and then bend your knee and bring it back into your chest. Lengthen. So kind of like pedaling a bike. So just do it this direction a few times. And then come to straight and we'll switch. So bend your knee and then push your leg out long and then lift. Bend your knee and push your leg out long and then lift. Do that one more time. And then we'll find a half happy baby pose. So you'll just bend that right knee, grab for your outer right foot and draw that knee outside of your right rib cage toward your right armpit, any amount. And just breathe there into your hamstring, just kind of grating your hip, and then cross your right ankle over your left knee, and we'll find a figure four. You can stay here with that left foot on the floor. You could wrap hands around the bottom of that or the back of that left thigh. Energetically push your right arm into your your right thigh. That feels okay in your hip. Stay active through both feet. You can rock a little bit. And then we'll release. We're going to roll onto our left side and use your upper left arm as a pillow. Just switch here. So you're just on your side. Your knees can be slightly bent. Reach your right arm alongside your ear. And then as you exhale, just bring your right knee and your right elbow toward each other. Okay, and now lengthen both your arm and your leg. So you can kind of reach that right leg kind of behind you. Just get long And then knee and elbow toward each other. And then we're going to open into a twist. So you're going to reach your right arm to your right and your right leg to the left. And then knee and elbow come to each other, and then you'll find your length. So just kind of move. This is pretty free form. I think of swimming here on the floor. And just move through these two parts of your motion. Just coming in and lengthening, and then coming in and twisting. Right, you're moving from your core, but it's all really dynamic. Let's do that one more time. And then just let yourself hold your twist. You can find what's comfortable for your head and your left arm. Maybe just lengthen that left arm. Your right knee can be bent as much as feels good. Right shoulder coming toward the floor. And then we'll just roll all the way onto our backs. And bring your left knee into your chest. Just kind of compress for a second. And then lengthen that leg up, arms along your side, and we'll just find those bike pedals. Just drop down and then bend your knee in, lengthen up, and then drop down and come in. Slow and controlled, and then we'll switch directions. So just push that heel away from you and then lift, knee in, and push it away and lift, knee in. Let's do that one more time. Come on up and then find your half happy baby here. Hold on to that outer edge of that left foot. Kind of push your foot into your hand into your foot, and draw that knee outside your rib cage. And then your figure four, left ankle over that right knee. Flex through that foot. You can energetically push that left thigh away. Maybe grab onto the back of your right hamstring. If you've got long arms, it might even feel good to hold on to your shin. I do not have long arms. Stay active through both of your feet. You might rock a little. And then we'll just do that same swimming thing on the other side. So roll onto your right side. Use your right arm, upper arm as a pillow. Let your left arm come up alongside your ear, and your knees just are bent. Your hips are stacked, reach. And then knee to elbow. And then lengthen out. So reach, 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 reach. You can engage through that left glute to kind of really clear through the front of that hip. And then knee to elbow, and then open into a twist here. And just let it be free form. Connect it with your breath in a way that makes sense. Just make sure you're still breathing and even hearing that breath as you just move. Take this side of your body through extension and then flexion and then twisting. Just enjoy that movement. Let's maybe do two more. And then we'll hold our twist next time we get to the twist and just stay there and find something that works for that right arm. Left knee bent as much as you'd like it to be. And then unwind yourself. We're just going to roll over onto hands and knees. And just come up onto your hands and knees. You can find a little bit of cat and cow or any movement that would feel good in your spine here. And then maybe some shoulder circles. And then bring your weight into your left leg, reach your right leg back. We'll bend that knee and just find some big hip circles. So hit heel toward the ceiling, knee out to the side, knee toward your armpit, and then heel. Just do 2 in that direction. And then we'll switch knee to chest, armpit, and back out. And then just lengthen your leg back. Bring the ball of your foot to the floor, push back, get a little bit of a calf stretch. Then we'll pivot on this left knee and find a modified side plank. Left hand on the floor, reach your right arm up. Externally rotate through that upper left arm so your elbow crease is pointing the same direction as your fingers. And then come all the way upright and we'll find a side bend here, Parigasana. Left arm up alongside your ear. And then come up on upright. We're just going to pivot on this left knee to face the front of your mat and find your low lunge here. So step that right foot forward. You can pad your knee as much as you need to if you want a folded blanket or to fold your mat over. And then we're going to find our balance. So toe heel that right foot in front of your left knee. Just balance for a minute. Not a whole minute. That'd be too long. But notice what you need to do with your hands, how stable you feel today. And then just move it back out to a normal place, just in line with your hip. Big breath in, reach your left arm up, and then find a side bend over to your right. You can just kind of let your right hand reach toward the floor. And then we'll move into a twist. Left hand outside your right knee, reach your right arm back. Open up here. You can stay here, or you could bring your left elbow outside your knee. Maybe bring hands together. Maybe tuck your back toes and lift into a twisted high lunge. And then from there, unwind, plant your hands to the floor, and push yourself back into downward facing dog or child's pose or table. Just take a few breaths, just check out the difference from one side to the other. Hello, cat. And then knees to the floor. Big hip circles with that left leg. So reach that heel toward the ceiling, knee to the side, toward your armpit and chest, and back heel toward the ceiling, out to the side. And then switch. Knee to chest, armpit, knee to the side, heel to the ceiling. And then we'll lengthen that leg back, push into your heel. And then pivot on your right knee. Find that modified side plank here, externally rotating through your right upper arm. And then come on up. Find your gate pose, Parigasana. Left hand on your thigh, reach that right arm up. And then come upright. We'll pivot on our right knee. Step your left foot forward to find your lunge. Pad your right knee as much as you need to, and then find your balance. Just bring that left foot in line with your right knee and shin. Hands at your heart, hands on your hips, just relaxed, whatever works for you today. Just notice what activation helps you feel stable. And then go ahead and toe heel that foot back out to a good place. Just let your left hand reach toward the floor, right arm up and over. Find a nice side bend here, and then we'll move into a twist, right hand outside, left knee, reach your left arm back. And then you can stay here, or right elbow can come behind, outside that left knee, maybe hands together. Tuck those back toes, lift your back knee. And find your twisted high lunge. And then look at the floor. Hands down. Step back. Child's pose, table, or downward facing dog. Look up at the top of your mat and just make your way to standing forward fold at the top of your mat. Parallel feet. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold with bent knees as much as they need to be. Inhale all the way to standing reach high. Exhale, hands to your heart. We'll go through a couple rounds of a lunging salutation. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, left foot back into a lunge. Exhale, left knee down and bring both hands inside that right foot. And just find some circles with your hips here. Go one direction and then the other. Just find some freedom in your pelvis. And then we'll go through bending and straightening that front leg. Just move with your breath. And you can do this with your hands inside your foot. And straighten your leg any amount. It doesn't have to come all the way straight. You can walk your hands back. You can have your hands up on a chair or blocks. Just do what feels available in your hamstring and honors your lower back, right? So we're not overstretching your lower back. We're trying to get into the backs of your legs. Straighten and bend here. Plant your hands. Inhale yourself back to plank or table. Knees up or down. And then rock your heart forward, lower yourself all the way to the floor. And then let your hands float up off the floor. Bring the tops of your feet to the floor. Activate your back body. Push your pubic bone down. And then plant your hands. Lift into your cobra. Exhale, make your way to downward facing dog. Enjoy your breath there. Inhale onto your tippy toes, look forward. Exhale, find a bend in your knees. Make your way to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way to standing, reach high. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale and reach high. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, right foot back into your low lunge. Ground that right knee. And then bring both of your hands inside of that left foot. You can bring your left foot out a little bit wider. And then find those circles in your hips here. Just kind of let it be intuitive. It doesn't even have to be big. But just kind of find some freedom in your hip joints and through your pelvis here. And it could just be swaying from side to side. And then straighten and bend that left leg. Just moving with your breath. And see if you can hold on to that Ujjayi ocean-like sound. Just stretching through the back of that left hamstring. And come forward. Inhale yourself to table or plank. And then exhale to lower all the way to your belly and tuck your toes. Float your hands, really engage through your back body. Plant your hands. Feel like you're pulling your hands back to lift your heart. Maybe cobra a little higher, maybe upward facing dog. Exhale your way. Downward facing dog, table, or child's pose. Inhale onto your tippy toes, look forward. Exhale, bend into your knees, make your way to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale all the way to standing, reach high. Exhale, hands to your heart. Bring your weight into your right foot and then lift your left knee. Really engage through that right outer hip. Okay, so draw that outer hip in as you lift, and then we'll move into a tree pose. So bring your knee out and then plant it in a place where you're not going to have pressure on your knee joint. So either below your knee or above. You can use your hand to get it up, but then see if you can stack your shoulders over your hips and try to level your hips as much as possible. Everything toward midline. Just remember that effort that you made in your kneeling balance. And just hold. Find an arrangement for your arms. Maybe hands at your heart. Maybe reaching high. Soften those front low ribs down. And squeeze your left foot into your leg and your right leg back into your foot. And find a drishti for your eyes. And always use a wall or a chair for balance if you need the help. And then we'll step back and make our way to warrior two. So you'll release that left leg, bend into your right knee. Just step that foot back and open up. Just pause. And then we're going to take that left heel in, turn your right toes in slightly and come into a high squat, a goddess squat. And then you can find some traction of your hands on your legs and just twist a little bit. And then straighten both legs, parallel your feet, hinge at your hips to fold. Bring your hands toward the floor or a chair or a block. See if you can find equal weight between your big toe ball mound, your pinky toe ball mound, and the center of your heel on each foot. You can even lift your toes to kind of help you connect to your foundation there. And then lift your sitting bones up toward the ceiling and then feel like you're spreading them apart. Just those bottom bony protrusions in your pelvis. With an exhale, bring your hands to your hips. And come all the way up to standing. Turn your left toes to the left and then just take a big step with your right foot to meet your left foot. Find your mountain pose and we'll set up for our tree on the other side. So ground through that left foot, lift your right knee. And then draw that left outer hip in so you're not swinging it out to the side. Right knee out to the side. You'll place that foot below your knee. You can even use toes as a kickstand or foot above. And whatever arrangement you'd like for your arms. Soften those front low ribs in, but be broad through your collarbones. And find that energetic drawing toward the midline. And find your drishti. And then we'll move into that warrior two. So release that right foot, big step back, and then open. Just pause here. Then we'll move into our goddess squat. So take those left toes in slightly, right heel in. So toes out, heel in, heels in. And then this time, just reach your arms forward. Really feel like you're pushing your knees wide toward the pinky edge of your feet. And see if you can just hold, point your tailbone toward the floor. Open through your heart, but knit those lower ribs towards your pelvis. And then go ahead, straighten your legs, parallel your feet. You could interlace hands behind your back or reach hands toward the floor. Just find your forward fold again. Stretching through your legs. And through your shoulders. Release your hands to your hips. Inhale, come on up. And then exhale, just toe heel your feet toward each other. And take a big step toward the top of your mat. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, left foot back into a lunge. Exhale that left knee down. Bring both of your hands inside your right foot and toe heel that right foot. Out to the right. Find your lizard lunge here for a few breaths. Maybe lift that back knee. Maybe come down to forearms to the floor or a block. We're just going to be here for one more breath, just getting into our hips so that we're comfortable when we're seated. Come back up onto your hands if you're down, and we'll move into pigeon. So just toe heel that left foot, right foot over to the left, and drop your knee toward that right wrist. Okay, and this might be a good place for you to stay, or you can roll onto your back and do that figure four we did at the beginning. So this is your other option here for pigeon. And just a couple of breaths wherever you are. You can let yourself fold and find a little bit of sense of drawing your knees toward each other and lengthening out through your heart. And then inhale, hands back toward your shin. Rock your weight to your right hip. Swing your left leg around and we'll find Janu Shirshasana. So right foot to your left inner thigh. And you can bend this knee as much as you need to find integrity in your spine. So I really want you to find your tailbone out from underneath you. And so if that means to get your pelvis upright, you need to bend your knee, then bend your knee. Okay. Long spine, and then lead with your heart to fold. And just two more breaths here. Inhale yourself up. Just bend into that left knee. Cross your ankles and either come straight up to standing from here or use your hands as much as you need to. We're just going to stand up. Find your mountain pose. Inhale and reach high. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And inhale, right foot back, right knee down, and hands inside that left foot. You can angle your toes out just slightly. Just kind of listen to what feels good in your hip. Maybe lift your back knee. Feel that through the front of that right hip a little more. Maybe come down onto forearms on the floor or block. And then wherever you are, if your knee's up, bring your knee down, come back up onto your hands. Toe heel that left foot over toward your right wrist. And the closer your heels towards your pubic bone, kind of the friendlier this will be, or the less intense. And you always have that option to lay on your back and do a figure four here instead. So just lengthen and let yourself fold. Forearms to the floor. Maybe your head comes all the way to the floor. Find a little sense of drawing your knees toward each other as you reach out through your heart and the crown of your head. And then walk Walk your hands back towards your shin. Rock your weight onto your left hip and swing your right leg around. And really think about that upright pelvis. So your sacrum, right, is perpendicular to the floor here. It's not tucking underneath you. So if it's doing this, just bend your knee to help you get your pelvis upright. Lengthen through your spine, lead with your heart to fold over that right leg. And use that Ujjayi breath. Like really think about massaging your inner body with the sound of your breath. And then come on up. Lean back, bend both knees, just windshield wiper those knees from side to side. Just internally and externally rotating through your hips here. And then come on up. We'll make our way to our seat for meditation. And today is going to be simple. I'm going to offer you some words to use as mantras. And we're just going to use each of these words for 5 minutes each. So get yourself set up so that you can sit comfortably and tall. But we're focusing this month on, right, our thought and emotion body, our manomaya kosha. This sometimes it's called your chemical body, right? Because emotions originate in your brain, right? But they create physical sensations inside of your body because you have a chemical reaction, something happening inside of your body. The chemistry in your body is creating those emotions. But our emotions, our feelings come from our thoughts. And our thoughts motivate our actions. Okay? And the actions we take in the world create our results and our external reality, but it all stems from what's happening inside of us. And so it's so important for us to become really aware of that link and notice that what we are thinking is what shows up for us in our lives. So we're just going to do this really simple meditation with 3 different emotion words. So we'll start with compassion. Okay, and for 5 minutes, that will just be connected with your breath. Compassion will be your mantra. The second is gratitude. So gratitude, the word gratitude will be your mantra connected with your breath for the second 5 minutes. And then we'll end with joy. Okay. So set yourself up, let your spine get tall. Feel your foundation. And just start connecting with that word compassion. With your inhale and with your exhale. And start to be really aware of what compassion feels like in your body. You can do a whole body scan. What does compassion feel like in your eyes, and your jaw and your throat and in your skull and your brain. What does compassion feel like in your heart and your lungs and your belly? What does compassion feel like in your pelvic area, your low belly? And just find that link with the word compassion and your breath. And really immerse yourself in the experience that the thought creates emotionally and sensationally for you. And really let your mind relax, not grasping or trying to force an experience, just really be open with non-judgmental awareness of your experience. And just gently in your mind, switch your focus to the word gratitude. Just notice how that feeling of compassion can naturally flow into gratitude. And just connect that word gratitude as a mantra, mind tool with your breath in and your breath out. And feel it behind your eyes, in your jaw, in your throat, in your heart, in your lungs, in your belly, and your pelvis. Just notice the quality of gratitude in your body. You might feel what quality of luminosity it has, what temperature it is, what color, where in your body is it located most potently. Just relax into gratitude. And just notice what happens when that is your mantra without trying to make anything happen. You don't need to grip the word with your mind, just relax into it. And just notice how that inner sense of gratitude can shift to joy. Just breathing in joy, breathing out joy. And just notice energetically how this feels in your body. Does it feel expansive or contracting? Does it feel heavy or light? What temperature is it? How does it feel in your face, in your throat? In your chest, in your belly, in your foundation. Notice if any tension has crept into your body and your shoulders, your hips. And see if you can just breathe joy into that place. And just really open yourself to the awareness, just the observation in a really friendly and relaxed way. Without too much effort, just breathe in joy. Breathe out joy. As I ring the bells, just stay for the whole length of the vibration. You can bring your hands to your heart and find a smile inside. You can offer a silent prayer of gratitude. Just find some thankfulness to yourself for spending time. And you can go ahead and open your eyes and release from that. Just come back. Does anyone have any observations, comments, questions from today? We have a little group today. So could you notice thinking those words can create the emotion?
I had a harder time with joy, which I thought was interesting. But I thought it was funny how, as I changed, like where my brain would go, my wandering brain, it would go in different places depending on what we were concentrated on. So I thought that was fun too.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes having a mantra is helpful, but because it gives our brain a task, right? But then often our brain's like, am I doing this right? Or what other connections can I make to this?
Right. Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, today's the day Barry leaves. He's driving away.
Crazy. Thanks for doing this morning. I know that days where spouses are taking off, it's hard to get everything in.
Well, that's just it's just an hour. Can do it. Anyway, thanks for being here today.
Our pleasure. Have a happy 4th.
Yeah, we did it yesterday because
did
really the
you?
Declaration of Independence was signed on July 2nd. So
There you go.
we just celebrated yesterday before Barry had to leave.
That's perfect.
All right. Have a good day.
You too.